Welcome back to Crown Chats. I'm so excited to welcome today's guest. She is a multi-talented actress, writer, and producer, having brought us many of our favorite cozy movies, including a few of my favorites like Christmas Next Door, Holiday Date, A Safari Romance, My Sweet Austrian Holiday, The Christmas Chocolatier, Engaged by Christmas, and The Love Club. She always brings the perfect blend of romance and adventure to every occasion. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Brittany Bristow.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. That was quite an intro.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to chat with you a little bit and get to know you.
Same.
And for those who don't know, let's go back to the beginning a little bit. You actually get your start in ballet and then go on to film and television and commercials. But at what point do you go beyond just being a kid or a teenager in this and decide full throttle, this is going to be your career?
It's funny. Whenever I tell this story, people are like, "Are you sure that's how it happened?" But I was 6 years old, and I like marched my little butt down the stairs and announced to my parents that I wanted to be an actress for the rest of my life. And luckily, they were supportive. I mean, they weren't super happy about it at first, admittedly. They talk about that now. They're like, "Oh God, we didn't want you to get into the industry at all." But yeah, I think I've always known. Like I did pursue dance for a long time, but uh, even upon graduation, I went to the National Ballet School of Canada. So I trained in like a really professional setting my whole young childhood from 12 to 18. Um, but even in my final year when I was graduating and I would drive past a film set on my way to school and I would start crying because I was like, I miss it so much. And so I think it was sort of always something that I knew I wanted to do, which I feel very lucky for. And also I sort of put myself in a position where I didn't really have a backup because I loved it so much that I wasn't focusing on anything else enough to really make it a career. So
And your family is also involved with Hallmark, but specifically with taking a lot of these movies around the world. I can only imagine your passport is filled with stamps. But from the projects you've done, like A Safari Romance in South Africa, to Love, Romance, and Chocolate in Europe, and Love on the Right Course in Budapest, My Sweet Austrian Holiday, and so many more, what is the true adventure of really being a part of one of these international projects, from logistical challenges to just getting to set in some of those remote areas? And don't even get me started on the nightmare I can think of packing for one of these trips.
they're always so incredible. I mean, I've been so lucky to travel to such incredible places with work, and I sort of have to pinch myself every time I get an opportunity to go somewhere new. I think what's really fun about filming in those places is it kind of has this sort of like summer camp feel in that, you're there with your co-stars and you're getting to know everybody. You get to go out for dinners, you get to hang out, you get to adventure this new place. And I think the biggest thing for me is always making sure that I take time to really absorb and spend time in the city that I'm filming in. Or, for example, when we were in South Africa, we went and we did a lot of tours. We took time when Andrew and I were there, we took time to go help paint a school and do some construction work to help sort of facilitate making this school more of an easy place for students to go. Really trying to immerse yourself in the culture of where you are is such a blessing to be able to do something like that. And so I think it's one of the things that I appreciate the most about filming. And it can be complicated, especially when you're going from all these different climates, trying to pack, for an entire month and a half of your life or a month of your life in a place where you've never been. And it's always a little daunting, but it's always so much fun, and I love to travel. It's one of the things I'm truly passionate about, is seeing the world. And so for me, having an opportunity to do that with my work is like the greatest gift in the world. I mean, you definitely have less time to see stuff when you're working because your hours are so long, and you're working to make sure you're making a beautiful movie for the audiences at home. But I think as long as you can really try to be present, it's just such a special thing to be able to do. And it really does help remind you that being present is the single most important thing. Because if we can be in the moment in every single day, even when we're working, then you're still aware of your surroundings. You're still getting to experience it to a certain extent. And that's really special.
And of these locations, do you have a specific one that was maybe your favorite? Or maybe one that was most challenging?
Yeah, I mean, both of the times that I've been able to go to South Africa to work, the first time with Lacey and John Core, and then the second time with Andrew, have been so incredible. It's hard to beat South Africa as a location to go to. Um, I love it there so much, and it's such an incredible place to be, and the people are incredible, and getting to see the animals is like such a pinch me moment. So it's hard to beat South Africa. Um, I don't know that there's been a bad place. I mean, if I genuinely, I'm so lucky that I've had a chance to go to so many places. I think probably the most challenging for literally only the fact that I was cold would be Romania, but only because I was cold. But like, I was also cold in Ontario shooting a Christmas movie a couple of years ago, and I wasn't traveling to Romania. So like, I'd pick Ontario as the most difficult over anywhere, just because you don't get to have an adventure at the same time. I'd rather be cold and having an adventure in Europe than cold in Northern Ontario and wondering if I'm ever going to be able to feel my feet again.
Yeah. The trade-off kind of risk versus reward. Yeah, I had
Yeah, exactly. Anytime you get to travel for work, it's so much more fun.
I had Keith Costumes and then Andrew Gernhardt, who's a producer, but they said they did Christmas Quest with Lacey and
In
Christopher.
Iceland.
They were like it was like negative temperatures and we're in like ice caves and so like they were
Yeah.
like having to like line jeans and so it was just I'm just
Yeah.
like all these little tricks and things. I'm like the things you guys do for us to bring a little joy, we
I
appreciate
will
it.
say the most difficult project I ever did was also in Iceland, but it was not a Hallmark movie. It was a like a Scandinavian noir. So it was also a thriller, and we were shooting it in November, and I had just been in a car accident,
Oh,
and
geez.
I had a cracked sternum, and I was filming a thriller in November, and there was a scene where I'm supposed to have just taken out the garbage, and then I discover somebody trying to break into my house to kill me. And I was freezing in a tank top outside in November in Iceland, and it was dark and I was hurting. So that's probably the worst one, but just
Yeah.
because I was in pain and it was so cold. But
I
other than that,
yeah.
I'd still choose to do it there than anywhere else, you know?
You've become an executive producer on some of your recent films, and you even wrote Love on the Right Course. What is it about the creative process and the story development that you really enjoy? And are we going to be seeing more writing or even some directing from you in the near future?
Oh man, I would love to direct. I think it's such a specific art form, and I have so much respect for directors. I think it requires such a specific eye for understanding visually what you want, but also performance-wise what you're hoping to get. And I would love to do it at some point. I think it's something that would be a really fun challenge. So I'm definitely hopeful that one day I will direct something. I have something that I'm writing right now that is very outside of the Hallmark world, but that's a project that I would love to direct one day. It's taking me forever because it's a thriller and it's confusing. And I don't know where I'm going, and I have to keep rereading it so that I make sure I don't mess anything up. But slowly but surely, I'm finding my way through that. And I have a wonderful writing buddy. We're not writing together, but she keeps me super accountable. And I've been very grateful to have her sort of keep me on track. So that's been helpful. Um, and yeah, on the producing side, I mean, the movie I just completed with Luke McFarlane, which was uh, such a fun project to work on, and he was so amazing to work with. I actually was the creative producer on that project, and it's one of those things where it's so much fun to read a script and then be able to be part of helping to bring it to life. You know, when you're the creative producer, you're not dealing with the money. You're dealing with casting and locations and making sure that the format of the script really works well with what a network might be asking of you. And really thinking through all of the little things from like costume to props and all of that. So it's really just bringing the story to life, which is so much fun. It's so cool to watch this thing sort of become its own thing. And it's really, I find that really exciting, and it's really enjoyable for me to be able to participate in that and trying to make it the most perfect representation of what the writer could have hoped it would be.
And you just wrapped a Christmas movie with another one of my favorites, Luke McFarlane. Do you have any secrets you can share with us to hold us over until it comes out? Or do you have some other projects coming for us soon?
Yeah, so the movie with Luke will be coming out at some point. I don't know when, but we'll find out and then we'll share. The Lifetime movie that I just finished in May, whenever it was. That one's going to be coming out this year as well, I believe. I think we just got an announcement, but I'm waiting to figure out if it's real. So that one will be coming out. And then I have another movie that I actually created the concept for and hired an incredible writer to work on it. And we're hoping to go into production to start working on that in December or January. And then I have a couple other films that I've actually gotten the rights to. I have two writers that I've been working with over the last year who are just absolutely incredible. And we're working to try to get a couple of their projects off the ground. So I'm trying to, find stuff that I can produce and be in as best as possible. And then just trying to stay creative and keep working and, finding the right projects rather than just sort of jumping at anything. And it's been I think it's been a tough year for a lot of people in the industry. It's been slower. There's been a lot of sort of reverberation from when COVID was a thing and we were dealing with no productions, and then everybody went into production and made like a million things. And then suddenly we were dealing with there's too much stuff. So, it's been like a little bit of a weird few years for everybody. So I'm just very grateful that I'm still working and getting an opportunity to meet new creative people and develop more stuff. And I have a friend who's actually working on an incredible movie that she has written about her family. And she wants me to be a part of that. So I'm just, I'm jumping at every opportunity that I get that feels like the right thing. And in the meantime, just trying to continue on this project because we're now that we've wrapped, we're in the post-production process, and it's my first time really diving in and being a part of that. So I'm going to be a part of the edit, the sound, color correct, everything. So I will be working on this movie for a while still, until it's ready to show everybody.
And that brings us to our final segment, which I call a little crown to crown, which is simply a rapid fire response. I'm going to give you a topic, and you're going to give me the first answer that comes to mind.
I'm going to try my best. I'm like historically so bad at these, but I'm going to do my best for you.
You're going to own it. It's okay. Um, Dream filming location that you have not worked out yet.
Thailand.
Who is a dream co-star you have not yet worked with?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. It's so hard. Oh my
Maybe more
gosh.
than one. It could be a huge ensemble piece. It could be whatever you want.
That would be a dream. I mean, okay. Obviously, whenever somebody asks this, I think they're hoping for like your romantic lead, but not romantic lead. I would love to work with Erin Cahill. I think it would be so much fun to work with her. And I would really love to work with Jackie Collier because her and I are just so determined to be in something together. So can I name them? Because I
Absolutely.
don't know. I cannot pick between the men. I can't. I can't do it. It's impossible. I want to work with everybody. I would like to work with everyone.
There we go.
And Kit Harington. Just putting that one out there. I'd like for him to be my lead in something.
Which of your past projects has more story to tell, either as a sequel, prequel, or spin-off?
I think Holiday Date.
Do you have
I
an
think
idea
Holiday
in
Date.
mind for
Because
that
we,
one?
no. But I would love to see more of that family because Peter Benson as my brother-in-law was so funny, and I want to be back on screen with him playing my brother-in-law again. And Matt Cohen and I had so much fun working on that. And I feel like there is space for more to find out about the actor and the designer and just keep going in the lives of those people. Or safari romance because then we could go back to South Africa and like keep working on various things or maybe travel the world and save animals and come up with designs for interactive things and it would be very cool because then maybe it would be like a travel one, like a travel series. Ooh, that would be nice.
Now we have a
And
series. I love it. I love it.
Andrew, can we go everywhere in the world, please?
Yes.
Your wife, the girls, the boys, I mean.
Christmas Con is just around the corner, which you are attending. I can't wait to see you. And with that, do you have any favorite Christmas traditions or treats?
So every year, my sister and I, since Elf came out, every single year we have watched it together while like baking Christmas treats. So that is one that I cannot live without. We now do it with my niece and my nephew now, and it's such a sweet tradition. We just love to like bake something and watch a Christmas movie together, and that's really nice. Um, Otherwise, I love to like drive around and look at lights. Which I know sounds so cheesy, but they just make me so happy. I just like seeing the Christmas lights.
And lastly, a favorite charity or organization to give a shout out to that holds a place in your heart.
Okay, so there is a handful. Um, I, for anybody that's been following me for a little while, they know that I'm a big cancer research donation person. So I love doing the Walk to Conquer Cancer every year, which is the Princess Margaret Walk. It's a huge hospital. It's one of the top hospitals for cancer research in North America. And I really love supporting them, and I love supporting the sick kids hospitals as well. There's Toronto has a hospital specifically called Sick Kids, and they've done so much to support children and families who are navigating illness or trauma in some way, which I think is so important. I just, in general, am a big supporter of anything that helps people. I like, when I go through my clothes and I'm looking because I have clothes everywhere right now. I'm going through and sorting through all my stuff and I always love to try to donate clothes to either, the Salvation Army or to a women's charity. I think there's so many easy ways we can give back daily and weekly, monthly, whatever it is. And I think sometimes that's just in being supportive verbally or, cheering people on. And I think that there are a million different ways that we can do that. And yeah, so for me, I think it's finding different places in your community that need help, people that need help, and just doing anything and everything you can for the people around us. Because, for me, myself, I feel very lucky and I don't always have the most to give, but when I do, I try, and I think it's something that if we all aim to lift each other up a little bit more, the world would be a bit of a better place. So,
And that wraps us up. Thank you so much for being here. I am such a fan. I truly love your movies, from the adventure to the romance to even some of the darker characters we're getting from you now. That said, where can people find and follow you to keep up with all of the excitement of Brittany Bristow?
well, I wish that I understood how to have TikTok. I don't, so I'm not on there because that's just too confusing for me. But I'm mostly on Instagram these days, which is at Britt Bristow. Otherwise, I do have threads, and I think that's it. I have a Facebook fan page, but I don't really use it that often, to be honest. So mostly just Instagram.
And that wraps up another episode of Crowd Chats. Thank you so much for joining me. If you love what you're seeing, please be sure you're subscribed and you like this episode, because we have so many incredible guests still to come and you don't want to miss out on the fun. Be sure to also follow me, Haley, at Crown the Halls on Instagram, and don't forget about our sweet merch with Dressing Festive. You can find that linked here in the episode, as well as on my Instagram bio. So until next time, wear your crown. Your crown may tilt, may it never fall, but you are beautiful and you are strong.